The Whispers in the Night. The small town of Ravenswood was known for its quaint charm, nestled deep within a forest that seemed to cradle the world in its towering pines. However, beneath the picturesque surface lay a sinister secret that had echoed through generations, whispered about during sleepovers and dared in the light of campfires. Ravenswood was home to the Whispering Woods, an area where the trees were rumored to hold the voices of the lost, those who had vanished mysteriously over the years. Eleanor, a spirited 16-year-old, had lived in Ravenswood her entire life. Unlike her friends, she was drawn to the woods, often exploring its depths, determined to uncover the truth behind the stories that lingered like the morning fog. With her curly auburn hair bouncing in rhythm to her hurried steps and a tattered notebook clutched to her chest, she ventured deeper into the forest than ever before. One evening, while meandering along a narrow pathway shrouded in twilight, she stumbled upon an abandoned cabin, half devoured by ivy and shadows. The air was thick with the scent of damp earth and something else, a lingering dread that curled around her heart. Bravery coursing through her veins, Eleanor pushed the door open, its hinges creaking as if warning her to leave. Inside, the atmosphere was claustrophobic, cocooned in layers of dust and cobwebs. However, it was what lay in the corner that seized her breath, a small, dusty cage housing a black cat. The once vibrant creature now sat motionless, eyes glinting like obsidian stones. As Eleanor approached, the cat stirred, a low rumble emanating from its throat. It felt different, something not quite right about the way it stared at her. The feeling was unsettling, a deep primal instinct telling her to back away, yet she was captivated. "Are you lost?" she whispered, kneeling to peer closer. Suddenly, the cat's pupils dilated, consuming the whites of its eyes. The sound of low growls turned into spine-chilling hisses that echoed in the room. Eleanor jerked back, feeling an invisible force pulling her towards the creature. The air turned heavy, like a storm pressing against the world outside. In that moment, the stories of possessed animals flooded her mind. Her heart raced as she remembered the warning. Animals could be vessels of spirits, lost souls looking for a way back into the world of the living. And here she was, alone with a creature who seemed to embody everything sinister about the woods. Shaking off her fears, Eleanor thought of rescuing the cat. What if it had been abandoned, lost, just like the stories? She reached for the latch. A screech filled the room, sharp and unforgiving. As she yanked the door open, the cat bolted past her, its sleek body disappearing into the shadows without hesitation. "Wait," Eleanor called after it, but all that responded was silence. The chill in the air settled deeper into her bones as she followed the cat outside. The sky had darkened considerably, the forest now a labyrinth of shadows. With only the faint light of her phone guiding her, she realized she had strayed too far from familiarity. The trees groaned around her, and the whispers of the lost began, low and mournful, weaving through the branches like an unseen mist. Just then, Eleanor spotted movement ahead, the silhouette of the cat weaving through the trunks, beckoning her forward. She hesitated, a shudder creeping up her spine, but curiosity propelled her into action. As she followed, the whispers grew louder, forming words that scraped against her mind. "Turn back, turn back." Brushing off her growing unease, she continued deeper into the woods as the terrain beneath her transformed. The ground became softer, the trees closing in tight, almost as if they were conspiring against her. Without warning, a flurry of fur erupted from the undergrowth. Squirrels, raccoons, and rabbits, now eyes reflecting a haunting light, clamored toward her, circling her like a wicked carousel. Fear gripped her heart as the creatures began to hiss and growl, their movements wild, frantic. They were not just animals anymore, they were vessels, hosts for the restless spirits bound to the woods. The once innocent cat appeared in the center, gazing at her with a knowing intensity. "Help us," it hissed, its voice not belonging to an animal, but something older, something primal that made her blood run cold. The ghosts of the lost were rising, filling the air with a suffocating malice. Eleanor stumbled back, trying to escape the thrumming energy surrounding her, but the creatures closed in, their claws glinting in the dim light. The whispers escalated into frantic screams, each syllable hammering at her consciousness. With a burst of adrenaline, Eleanor turned to run, propelled by raw fear. Behind her, the chorus of possessed animals surged, their cries a cacophony that echoed through the forest. Heart-pounding, she pushed past brambles and fallen branches, desperate to escape the clutches of the cursed woods. Just as the darkness threatened to swallow her whole, she burst out of the trees and into the safety of her town's main street, breathless and shaken. The whispers faded, but the memory of the haunted animals remained etched in her mind. In the days that followed, Eleanor avoided the woods, shaken by the intensity of that night. But the shadows lingered. She often dreamed of the cat and the cries of the lost. Maybe one day she'd return, but for now, she understood. Some secrets were meant to remain buried, and some animals should never be approached. Every rustle in the night reminded her of the darkness that lay just beyond the familiar, watching, waiting.